to this lesson on right hand technique for Gypsy Jazz guitar. This is sort of a second part from the lesson we did last week, where we talked about all the basics and the foundations of the right hand technique for Gypsy Jazz guitar. And today I would like to go a little bit deeper with a right hand study to play on minor swing. If you haven't checked out the lesson from last week, I recommend you stop the video and go check out the lesson first, because we cover all the aspects of Gypsy Jazz technique. So if you're new to this right hand technique, I recommend you go and check it out so you get the basics covered, and we can move on with today's lesson, which is a more into depth study on minor swing, of course, to develop your right hand technique. So let's go straight into it, and I will show you what the exercise is about, how it works, and especially the right hand picking. As you know, minor swing starts with 2 bars of A minor. So what we will do, we will just highlight the chord tones of the A minor chord, which are of course here from fret 5 on the first string. And then we will go and play the major ninth here, and then land on the root. So what we'll play on the A minor chord is a simple A minor triad with the addition of the major 9 there. And I will explain in a moment the benefits of learning this lick. But first let's see how it's played. Fret 5 on string 1, fret 5 on string 2, fret 5 on string 3, then fret 7 on string 4, fret 7 on string 5, and then on the top string 8, 7, 5. In terms of right hand, what we want to do is down, 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 down. Only downstrokes. We talked about in the first lesson last week, we talked about how every time I change a string, it has to be a downstroke with my right hand. So this exercise is great to get you used to playing those double, triple, or even 4 times downstrokes in a row, because of course I'm changing string after every note and it has to be a downstroke every time. So it's a great exercise to practice those downstrokes going up the strings. Next, as we know, we've got 2 bars of D minor in the song. What we will do, we will move exactly the same thing up on the 10th fret, which is where we have D minor. And what we play up there is exactly the same thing. Again, note what I'm doing with the right hand, as I mentioned. So it's exactly the same lick. Moving on to the E7 part, we will play a pretty cool lick that features, in fact, the sharp 5 of the chord, which is a C note. And this is the lick we will play on that chord. One more time. So with the left hand, what I'm doing is 8, 7 on the first string, which is the sharp 5 and the 5th of the chord. Then I'm playing the major 3rd here on the second string, fret 9. Then again upper string, fret 9 again, upper string, fret 9 again, right? So I'm doing 8, 7 on the first string, and then 9, 9, 9. In terms of right hand, what I will be doing is down, up, and then down, down, up, then down, down, down. Of course, as I mentioned before, every time I change string, it has to be a downstroke. More into depth explanation on exactly how this right hand technique works, you will find, as I mentioned before, on the video from last week. So please go and check it out if you haven't done so already. And if you'd like to support this channel, please go and hit the like and the subscribe button below to give us a bit of support. If you enjoy these videos, it would be amazing. So carrying on, 8, 7, 9, 9, 9. Then what we'll do, we will stay on that 4th string and play 7, 6. And then move up a string, play 7, move up a string, play 8, which is again our sharp 5 of the chord. Then the 5th, major third and the root. What that is? It's a very cool lick you can use anytime you see an E7 chord in a song, or any dominant chord. Right hand wise, what we'll do there is down, up, down, 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 then up, because I'm on the same string now, so I can do an upstroke, down, 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 and then if you want to alternate there, it's fine, or if you want to keep playing downstrokes, is also fine. Of course, as I mentioned, the focus here is to practice our downstrokes moving up the strings. The next chord is A minor for 2 bars. What we'll do there is, so from the top string, fret 5, then fret 8, then down a string, fret 7, and then up a string again, so 8 on the top string, then move down to the 5th string with 7, then the 4th string with 7 again, then 10, and back to 7. In terms of right hand, I will be picking it this way, down, up, down. Then because I'm moving up a string again, I'm going to do another down. So down, up, down, down again, down, down, and then up because I'm on the same string, and down. So just to do a quick recap from the top, this is what the study looks like. We are at the halfway through the song. At this point we will play the same thing that we played on D minor one more time, after which we move to A minor again with the same lick. And what we will do for the two bars of E7 coming up, we will do the same exercise that we studied last week in the video to work on our right hand technique for Gypsy Jazz guitar. I put the same exercise into this study so that for you is a good way to practice what we covered last week again. For those of you who haven't watched that, it's 3 notes per string, which means I will have an odd number of strokes per string, which means they will always be down, up, down, and then again down, up, down. That also works our double downstroke, see? Down, up, down, down, up, down. And what I'm playing exactly is 3, 5, 6, then move up a string, play 4, 5, 7, then move up a string and play 6, 7, 9, then up a string 7, 8, 10, then up a string 7, 8, 10, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5. That's the complete study. What I will do, I will play it one more time for you. Then I will play it again over a backing track, so it's a bit more musical, and I'll give you a couple of tips on how to practice it. So this is the study. Now to the backing track. Of course, that was quite fast. So a few tips on how to practice this lick would be to practice on with a metronome. You can set the metronome at 40 BPM or even slower if you like, or a bit faster, is up to you, but around 40 BPM is a great speed to practice it. And you can practice very slowly if it's your first time working through this technique, or if you're just a beginner, and then slowly speed it up. There's no rush in trying to play fast, and that's also a general tip I'm gonna give you when it comes to general guitar practice, because it's a little bit like when you learned how to tie your shoelaces as a kid. You did it bit by bit, always slowly, step by step. You had to figure out what lace to put on top of which, step by step, slowly. And then before you knew it, your brain developed enough muscle memory for you to be able to do it without thinking. And it's the same with guitar a little bit. So don't worry about trying to play fast straight away. That will come automatically when you practice things slowly anyways. What you can do, you can also, if you're using a backing track off YouTube, you can also slow it down. You can go in the settings of any YouTube video and change the speed to 0.75 or 0.5. Let me show you an example of the same track at 0.75. So that was it for today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. Have fun practicing this beautiful technique. As I mentioned last week, this technique is designed to give you a great tone. So that's the reason why we practice it. It really does give you a great tone from your guitar, and it's a lot of fun to play once you master it. I know it's hard if you're a beginner, but it will eventually become second nature, like everything. So the key is patience, really. Be patient and practice as much as you can, and don't be in a rush. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like and the subscribe button for new videos every week. So thank you again, hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next week for a new video.